chosen one. What I'm about to share with you today is not just another message, it's a divine confirmation of what your soul has always known, but perhaps couldn't yet articulate. There is something sacred inside you that has never dimmed. No matter how many storms you've faced, even when you stumbled, even when everything seemed lost, there was a silent, unexplainable force that held you upright when everything else said you should collapse. This is not merely resilience or ordinary faith. This is something far deeper. This is the blue power. This power does not come from any earthly title. It is not inherited through status, nor is it learned through human systems. It was woven into your spirit before you took your first breath. Heaven carefully entrusted it to you long before you ever knew your own name. Perhaps until today, you didn't fully recognize it. But if you look back, you will see its fingerprints all over your story. Think about the times you stood up when you had no strength left. The moments you offered clarity and guidance you didn't even know you possessed. That was not random. That was the blue power already at work within you. The term might feel new to you, but what it embodies has always lived inside you. The blue power is not about external show. It is a presence that shifts the unseen atmosphere, a discernment that reads souls beyond their spoken words. A quiet spiritual authority that doesn't need to shout to be heard. Wherever you enter, things change. Those who sense your energy may not understand it, but they can't deny it, and they can't help but respect it. If you've spent your life feeling like you don't belong, if you've carried a sense of mission that you don't quite know how to express or use yet, hear me clearly. This is not confusion. It is the echo of your true spiritual origin, calling you to remember you are not lost, you are awakening. And this message, chosen one, is not simply an explanation, it is a divine invitation. This is a call to activate what has been asleep inside you and to finally acknowledge what heaven has already declared over your life. I stand here not as someone above you, but as a fellow carrier of this same blue mark. Together, we will uncover what the blue power truly is, how it reveals itself in your daily life, why you have faced so many spiritual attacks, and what steps you need to take right now to walk fully in this divine assignment. Thank you to every single one of you who has supported this mission through Super Thanks. Your generosity, whether big or small, helps us keep this sacred space alive and expanding. And know this deeply, even if you choose not to donate. Your presence here is an immeasurable gift, and I am truly grateful for you. If your spirit feels aligned with this message, drop a 777 in the comments right now as a public declaration that you are ready to awaken and walk in your divine power. Subscribe and join this spiritual family. This space is for those who know they carry a higher purpose and are finally ready to stop hiding and start transforming. Your time has come. Welcome home. God's chosen ones. God hid a blue power in you. It's time to unleash it. What exactly is this blue power hidden inside you? Chosen one, have you ever felt a stirring deep within your spirit that you couldn't explain, a pull that called you to rise higher, to see beyond what the physical eyes can perceive? The blue power is not some human-invented idea or a trendy, symbolic color meant to decorate spiritual talk. No, it is spiritual. It is ancient. It is sacred. And it is very much alive inside of you right now. This is not just a soft, calming hue. It is a living frequency, vibrating with divine authority, unshakable revelation, and uncompromising justice. Have you ever wondered why you sometimes feel a sudden wave of courage or clarity that seems to come out of nowhere? That is the echo of this heavenly frequency moving through your veins, a power that originates directly from the throne of God Himself, waiting to be activated fully in your life. When you look up at the endless blue sky and feel an unexplainable peace flood your being, have you ever paused to ask why? Or when you gaze into the deep, mysterious blue of the ocean and feel a strange sense of longing or depth, do you realize what is happening? This connection is not random, it is a divine signal to your soul. The color blue in the spiritual realm carries a vibration that goes far beyond what the natural world can understand. It is a bridge to eternity, an invitation into realms of the divine that your spirit recognizes even when your mind cannot comprehend it fully. The blue power reminds you that you are connected to something vast and eternal, something that surpasses the boundaries of this earthly life. Remember what Isaiah 40:22 says. He sits enthroned above the circle of the earth, and its people are like grasshoppers. He stretches out the heavens like a canopy and spreads them out like a tent to live in. Doesn't that make you feel small and powerful at the same time, chosen and yet humbled by His vastness? Throughout history, there have been individuals who unknowingly tapped into this blue power. Think about Martin Luther King Jr., who moved nations with words that carried heavenly justice and divine authority. Or consider Harriet Tubman, who felt the divine guidance so clearly that she led hundreds to freedom, almost invisible to her enemies. Have you ever wondered how they found such courage? Another example is Nelson Mandela, whose deep inner conviction broke chains beyond the physical prison walls, echoing the justice of heaven. Even Mother Teresa, with her soft voice and humble touch, carried a blue frequency of healing and compassion that the world could not deny. What if you realized that the same divine code that guided them is alive in you right now? The blue power isn't just about being calm or wise. It is about carrying a sacred authority that can silence lies, expose darkness, and build bridges where none existed before. It challenges you to walk in realms of spiritual leadership, to carry clarity when confusion reigns, and to release healing when chaos screams. Could it be that your unexpected insights, your sudden boldness, or your tears that fall during worship are all signs that this blue frequency is already activating within you? As Psalm 36:9 declares, "For with you is the fountain of life. In your light we see light." The blue power opens your eyes to that deeper light, revealing paths hidden from ordinary sight. What if I told you that every moment you felt like an outsider, every time you were misunderstood, it was actually your spirit responding to the frequency of heaven? Ephesians 2:6 reminds us that God raised us up with Christ and seated us with Him in the heavenly realms in Christ Jesus. You are not just wandering through life, you are seated in heavenly places, chosen to carry divine codes that this world desperately needs. So, chosen one, are you ready to stop shrinking and start shining? Are you willing to unleash what God hid in you before the foundation of the earth? Imagine the impact when you fully step into this blue power, the waves you will create in every room you enter, the freedom you will unlock in others simply by existing. Revelation 21:6 seals this truth. "I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. To the thirsty I will give water without cost from the spring of the water of life." You, chosen one, are that vessel carrying living water in the blue power. It is not just about you being blessed, it's about you becoming a fountain that overflows into every dry place around you. Do you see now why your presence feels different? why your silence is loud, and why your existence disrupts false systems, because you are heaven's echo on earth, and the blue power within you is waiting right now to be fully unleashed. Chosen one. Have you ever felt a strength inside you that doesn't make sense to those around you? A quiet force that doesn't need to shout, yet it shifts the entire atmosphere when you walk into a room. In the prophetic vision of Ezekiel, he described seeing the throne of God made of sapphire, a deep, radiant blue, shining with a glory that words can barely touch. Why sapphire? Because blue symbolizes divine glory, absolute clarity, and supreme governance over all creation. When Jesus was transfigured on the mountain, his entire being glowed with a bluish, almost blinding white light. It wasn't just a random miracle. It was heaven itself pouring through him. The blue power revealed on earth in its purest, most undeniable form. Have you ever asked yourself if that same heavenly light could be trying to break through you? This blue power isn't something the human eye can capture. It is sensed by the soul, recognized only by those sensitive enough to feel the divine pulse beneath the surface of ordinary life. It is an authority that doesn't need to raise its voice to prove its worth. Instead, it quietly transforms, heals, and establishes divine order wherever it flows. Can you recall a moment when you felt guided to act, even when you had no external confirmation? That was the blue power whispering to you, urging you forward even through your wounds, your misunderstandings, and your long silences. This power gives you unwavering courage when the world crumbles around you and provides clear direction when everyone else seems lost and confused. It lives deep inside you, not as a distant promise but as a present reality waiting for your agreement. Look at how historical giants carried a similar hidden power. Take Mahatma Gandhi, who led a revolution not through weapons but through unwavering, silent resistance. Or Rosa Parks, who in her quiet refusal to give up a seat shook an entire nation and sparked a movement for freedom. Have you ever wondered how one small, seemingly passive act could echo across time and change history? That is the blue power at work, not loud, not violent, but deeply transformational. Nelson Mandela, after 27 years in prison, emerged without bitterness, but with a clarity that healed a divided nation. Even Malala Yousafzai, with her soft voice and young age, carries an authority that challenges global systems of oppression. Can you see the pattern now? Chosen one. These individuals did not conquer through physical force. They allowed the divine power within to radiate beyond logic, beyond fear. You don't need to strive to earn this blue power or prove you are worthy of it. Why? Because it has already been given to you before you were even born. As Jeremiah 1:5 declares, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." Isn't it breathtaking to realize that God already designed you with this hidden frequency? Your assignment is not to chase after it or beg for it. It is to awaken it by trusting who you truly are. How much longer will you doubt the fire inside you? How much longer will you keep trying to blend into spaces that cannot hold your spiritual voltage? This power begins to flow the moment you stop apologizing for your depth, your insight, your silent authority. It activates when you stand firm in your spiritual identity and embrace your uniqueness without shrinking back. As the Timothy Viennas Septini reminds us, "For God gave us a spirit not of fear but of power and love and self-control." Chosen one, are you finally ready to stop hiding and start embodying the force that was planted inside you from eternity? When you accept your true essence, You stop running away from your calling, and instead, you step fully into the divine narrative written just for you. Psalm 139:14 proclaims, "I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful." I know that full well. Do you realize what this means for you? You are not a mistake, not a misfit. You are a divine masterpiece, equipped with an invisible yet unbreakable power. Imagine the lives that will change, the chains that will break, and the systems that will crumble, simply because you finally chose to believe in who you are. So, chosen one, will you keep running from this blue light inside you? Or will you finally let it blaze through every word, every action, every breath you take? Chosen one, have you ever wondered why you can sense the real motives behind people's words, even when they try so hard to hide them? Why you feel an unexplainable urge to leave certain places or avoid certain connections, even when others think you're overreacting? That's the blue power in action within you. It is a divine clarity that pierces through masks and illusions, allowing you to see beyond appearances and recognize the hidden truths that most people would rather ignore. Can you imagine how powerful this gift truly is? This is the discernment that not only guides your steps, but also positions you precisely where your presence is most needed, even if you don't always understand the reasons behind it. As Proverbs 3:6 says, "In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths." Isn't it humbling to realize that God himself has been steering you through this hidden frequency all along? You don't need a stage, an audience, or the loud applause of the world to demonstrate this blue power. It reveals itself in subtle, almost invisible ways, in the softness of your words when you comfort someone, in the deep silence you hold when chaos erupts around you, and in the attentive listening that disarms even the most guarded hearts. Have you ever noticed how simply entering a room can shift the atmosphere? How some people suddenly feel peace washing over them, while others become restless or even exposed without you uttering a single word? That's not a coincidence. It is your divine vibration reshaping the environment in ways you may never fully grasp. Think about Princess Diana, whose gentle presence and silent compassion melted even the coldest rooms, or Fred Rogers, whose simple kindness and unwavering gentleness quietly healed generations of children and adults alike. Have you ever considered why their energy lingers in hearts even decades later? Another example is Desmond Tutu, whose mere presence dismantled walls of hatred and oppression, restoring hope where despair had reigned. Even someone like Maya Angelou, with her poised demeanor and careful words, carried a blue power that unveiled deep truths and moved souls worldwide. What if you, chosen one, carry that same unspoken force, simply waiting for your acceptance? This blue power makes those who live in deception deeply uncomfortable. Why? Because it embodies truth, not just any truth, but a divine, piercing light that reveals what has been carefully hidden. Can you see now why certain people distance themselves from you, or why some relationships mysteriously fall apart? It's not rejection, it's a divine separation, orchestrated so your power won't be diluted or misused. When you step into a space, lies begin to crumble, chaos starts to retreat, and even disorder starts to align itself, not because you forcefully demanded it, but because your mere presence broadcasts a vibration that cannot be ignored. As John 1:5 reminds us, the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. Imagine the impact when you fully allow this light to flow without resistance. Could it be that you were never meant to blend in, but to stand out as a living revelation of heaven's clarity on earth. Ephesians 5:13 says, "But everything exposed by the light becomes visible, and everything that is illuminated becomes a light." You are that illumination. Chosen one. Have you ever wondered how many lives are silently being transformed simply because you dared to walk in rooms where others shrink back? How many generational curses are breaking because your energy refuses to cooperate with darkness? What if the divine assignment over your life is to be that quiet force that sets captives free? Not through shouting, but through presence alone. So, chosen one, will you keep holding back? Or will you fully embody the blue power that God has already hidden within you since the beginning of time? Chosen one. Have you ever paused to wonder how you've managed to stand firm through storms that should have broken you? How? While others collapsed under the weight of their burdens, you somehow kept moving forward, not in your own strength, but with an unexplainable peace. This is the blue power sustaining you. It does not erase the battles or magically remove every obstacle, but it anchors you so deeply that even when everything around you crumbles, you remain steadfast. What if I told you this isn't just mental toughness or human resilience? It is divine anointing, a spiritual covering that serves as God's whisper, saying, "I am still with you," even when all external signs scream otherwise. As Isaiah 41:10 reminds us, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." Can you feel that truth settling into your spirit right now? Those who carry the blue power do not need to argue, justify, or explain themselves. Their entire life is already a living testimony. Their silence speaks volumes. Their gaze alone can shift someone's entire direction without a single word. Have you noticed how even your quietest moments leave echoes in the hearts of others? That's because this power is not something you have to force. It's woven into the fabric of your identity. The more you embrace who you truly are, the stronger it flows, the wider it reaches, and the deeper it transforms. What if the real question isn't, "How do I get this power?" but, "Am I brave enough to let it shine without apology?" Since childhood, you've known you were different, haven't you? While others followed trends, you felt life on a deeper, more intense level. Moments that seemed trivial to others cut deeply into your spirit. Have you ever felt the pain of a room before anyone spoke? Or sensed a hidden truth no one dared to mention? This wasn't weakness, it was your divine radar. Your spiritual discernment coming alive. Psalm 139:16 says, "Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be." Could it be that all those childhood moments weren't oddities but confirmations of your chosen nature? Remember when strangers confided in you without knowing why? When people came to you in tears, trusting you with their secrets as if they had known you forever? That's the blue power, manifesting without effort. You didn't take a course in compassion. You didn't study how to be a safe place. You simply were. Because this divine force had already been placed inside you before you understood its weight. Think of people like Oprah Winfrey, whose natural openness turned her into a global confidant, or Dalai Lama, whose quiet presence radiates peace beyond words, or consider Princess Diana again, whose gaze alone conveyed 1,000 unspoken comforts. Even Mr. Rogers, with his gentle demeanor, created safety simply by being. Have you realized yet that you, too, carry this unspoken sanctuary within you? You tried so hard to fit in, didn't you? to be normal, to silence the inner knowing that kept whispering, "This isn't for me." But you could never truly become like everyone else because you weren't meant to. You weren't designed to repeat tired patterns, but to break them with love, with truth, and with your very presence. John 15:16 says, "You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you so that you might go and bear fruit, fruit that will last." Do you see now why nothing conventional ever felt right to your spirit? Your mission isn't to please people, it's to remind them of what is real, what is sacred, what they've forgotten. When you enter a space, your very energy acts like a divine spotlight, revealing wounds that have been hidden, unmasking lies, and dissolving illusions, all without you saying a word. Your spiritual field does the heavy lifting. You just have to show up. This is why manipulative and selfish people withdraw from you. They can't hide behind masks in your presence because your vibration confronts all that is false and unclean. You never sought leadership, yet you lead, even in your silence. You offer direction. Your calmness in the face of chaos inspires and comforts those around you. Have you noticed how people are drawn to you? Not because of charisma, but because of something much deeper, your divine presence. Exodus 13:3. Pais presece declares, "My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest." Your presence isn't about performing or impressing, it's about embodying divine light and truth. You weren't made to blend in, you were made to be a lighthouse, a living reminder of heaven's reality on earth. So, chosen one, how long will you deny the undeniable? How long will you suppress the call to step fully into this sacred role? Maybe it's time to stop trying to dim your light and finally let the blue power blaze through every part of your being. Chosen one, have you realized yet that the blue power inside you was never something to be earned or conquered? It was always meant to be carried, like a divine mantle laid over your shoulders by God Himself. You hold this mantle whether or not the world recognizes it, whether or not those around you validate it. In your most challenging moments, when pain strikes and when the weight feels unbearable, you still stand. Even when wounds run deep, you find a way to continue forward. While others collapse under their storms, you take a deep breath, reconnect with your source above, and rise again. Why? Because your strength does not rely on external applause or human understanding. It is drawn from a higher well, anchored in a divine root that runs deeper than any trial you face. As Psalm 46:5 declares, God is within her. She will not fall. God will help her at break of day. Isn't it powerful to know that this same unwavering support flows through you? There are moments when you feel like crumbling, and that's okay. You may fall to your knees, but you do not surrender your essency. You feel deeply, so deeply that sometimes you wish you didn't. How many times have you pleaded with heaven? Why do I have to feel so much? Why do I see so clearly what others ignore? Why can't I just be like them? But every time you tried to escape this depth, heaven pulled you back, didn't it? Have you ever noticed how impossible it is to numb yourself completely? That is because your soul was crafted to carry a higher frequency, one that refuses to be silenced. The divine call does not fade. It waits in the quiet, patiently echoing inside your spirit until you finally yield. Once you accept this call, something miraculous happens. Your path begins to align, doors open, and your steps start to make sense in a way they never did before. You were born to be a beacon, to carry this sacred light into spaces others dare not enter. How long did you try to hide it? Chosen one, how often did you shrink yourself, hoping to blend in, to become invisible in the crowds. And yet, you discovered over and over again that you could never truly fit in spaces designed for shallow souls. Why? Because your spirit was forged for depth, for waters that drown ordinary understanding. Think about people like Albert Einstein, who saw realities far beyond what others could grasp, or Vincent van Gogh, who felt life so intensely that his art still speaks centuries later. Have you ever wondered how they carried such immense visions despite being misunderstood or rejected? Or consider Florence Nightingale, whose unyielding compassion transformed modern healthcare. She could not ignore the suffering she saw. Even Martin Luther, who ignited Reformation, stood alone at times, yet his spirit could not be silenced. Do these stories sound familiar to you? They echo your own journey. Chosen one, because you too carry a divine blueprint that refuses to be compromised. As Jeremiah 20:9 says, "But if I say, I will not mention his word or speak any more in his name, his word is in my heart like a fire shut up in my bones. I am weary of holding it in. Indeed, I cannot. Could it be that this same fire burns within you, making it impossible to settle for the ordinary life others find comforting? Your essence was never meant for conformity, but for transformation. You were not born to tiptoe through life, pleasing everyone and hiding your light. You were born to disrupt illusions, to awaken slumbering spirits, to plant seeds of divine remembrance wherever you go. Ephesians 2:10 reminds us, for we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do. This is not a poetic suggestion, it is your heavenly assignment. So, chosen one, how long will you keep trying to minimize the very thing that sets you apart? How long will you try to muffle the sacred frequency that makes you you? Your spirit craves depth because it was designed by the architect of the universe for something much greater than shallow existence. It's time to accept that you will never fully belong in the shallow pools of this world, because your soul was built to swim in the oceans of divine truth. Are you ready to finally embrace that ocean? Chosen one, have you noticed that the blue power cannot flow through those who choose to skim the surface of life? It requires something far deeper than casual spirituality or half-hearted devotion. It demands truth, the raw, unfiltered kind that strips away illusions. It calls for surrender, the type that costs you comfort and control. And above all, it calls for courage, the sacred bravery to say yes, even when fear tightens around your heart. How many times have you felt afraid but still moved forward? How many moments did you whisper a quiet yes to God? Not because you were fearless, but because something inside you refused to say no? Now, as you look back, doesn't everything start to make sense? The wounds that once left you questioning your worth, what if they actually prepared you for this divine role? The people and situations that distanced themselves from you, could it be that they were heaven's way of protecting you from contamination? The heavy emotions you carried like secret burdens, weren't they guiding you toward higher discernment? What once felt strange or painful now begins to reveal a holy design, as Romans 8:28 declares. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. Can you see how even your deepest heartbreaks were woven into your destiny? You are not just another face in the crowd. You are not simply surviving. You are carrying a unique anointing, a silent yet undeniable force that reveals itself exactly when it is needed. The blue power inside you doesn't crave attention or announce its presence with loud proclamations. Instead, it moves like a quiet river, powerful and purposeful, revealing itself in moments that matter most. Have you ever entered a room and felt an invisible shift, as if a sacred wind followed you in? That is your blue power, introducing heaven's atmosphere before you even speak. Think about Nelson Mandela, who carried an unshakable authority without boasting, or Mother Teresa, whose silent touch healed more than sermons ever could. Consider Malala Yousafzai, whose calm gaze challenges oppressive systems worldwide. Even Desmond Tutu's gentle smile dismantled hatred and inspired generations. Do you see yourself in these echoes? Because your power works in the same quiet, revolutionary way. Those who carry the blue power understand that the greatest authority isn't always found in the loudest voice, but in the silence that transforms, the gaze that comforts without words, and the touch that heals wounds others don't even see. As Proverbs 17:27 says, "The one who has knowledge uses words with restraint, and whoever has understanding is even-tempered." Can you feel this verse resonating in your spirit? Your presence alone becomes a sermon, a living prayer that invites others to remember who they truly are. You were sculpted by God to move with both firmness and gentleness, a rare balance that few can embody. This is your true essence presence, and this presence, chosen one, is medicine for many souls. Have you realized yet how many people have felt safe simply because you stood beside them? How many hearts have found peace in your quiet acceptance? Your life is not about performing miracles on stages, but about becoming the miracle itself in everyday moments. As Matthew 5:14 proclaims, "You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Your light was never meant to be concealed, and your blue power was never meant to be hoarded." So, chosen one, are you ready to fully embody this gift and let your silent strength heal, guide, and awaken those around you? Or will you keep questioning what heaven has already confirmed within you? Perhaps now is the time to step boldly into what you have always been, a living embodiment of divine light and authority, wrapped in the gentle mystery of the blue power. Chosen one, have you ever wondered why certain people only seem to find their balance when they're close to you? Why their storms calm and their minds clear just by sharing your presence? This isn't because of what you do or what you say, but because of what you carry within that sacred blue power. Your energy naturally orders chaotic environments. Your inner peace diffuses conflicts before words are even spoken, and your very essence becomes a beacon of hope to souls on the verge of giving up. Even when you're unaware, you serve as a bridge between brokenness and divine alignment, holding space for healing in ways most will never fully understand. Many people can't explain the feeling they have around you. They might say they feel lighter or safe, but they can't quite find the words. It's not because you have the perfect speech rehearsed or a charismatic charm. It's because your spirit emits a divine vibration that transcends language. Have you noticed how you don't speak to impress, but to direct? How even your silences communicate more truth than long-winded sermons? This is the invisible yet undeniable effect of someone who truly walks with God inside. As Galatians 2:20 says, "I have been crucified with Christ, and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me." Could it be that your quiet power is actually heaven speaking through you? Even when you feel unprepared, you are not here merely to exist. You are here to be a living channel of healing, of divine direction, of quiet strength, and of radiant light. When people feel lost, they instinctively seek you out. When they are wounded, they crave your gentle presence, and when they are confused, they often find a mysterious peace just by sitting beside you. Isn't it beautiful to realize that you're not just a comforter, but a vessel of the divine? Think of people like Maya Angelou, whose words and quiet dignity uplifted countless souls, or Robin Williams, who, despite his personal pain, carried an energy that made millions feel safe and joyful, or even Princess Diana, whose mere presence transformed rooms and touched hearts worldwide. What if you, chosen one, have been appointed to bring this same unseen transformation wherever you go? The blue power inside you does not require you to perform, to show off, or to strive for validation. It doesn't need the spotlight to function. Instead, it prepares you to occupy spaces with uncompromising truth. Wherever you step, falsehood is forced into silence. Masks become uncomfortable, and illusions crumble. This doesn't happen because you're trying so hard. It happens because your presence mirrors heaven itself. As 2 Corinthians 2:15 says, "For we are to God the pleasing aroma of Christ among those who are being saved and those who are perishing." Isn't it astonishing to realize that even without effort, you reveal divine reality? You are not just another individual walking through life. You are an answer to prayers whispered in the dark. You have been the unseen embrace that healed wounds deeper than words could ever reach. You have been the calm in rooms about to erupt. You did all this not from a stage, not with public applause, but quietly, with unwavering purpose. Because the blue power acts where the ego cannot tread. It serves invisibly and purely, without the need for praise. It guides without domination, supports without suffocating, and asserts itself without force. That is why so many feel inexplicably safe around you. They might not understand it, but they feel it, the peace that radiates from your constant communion with the Most High. This peace is not temporary. It is a reflection of a connection you nurture when no one is watching, in the secret places where your soul meets God. Even on your quietest days, when you question your worth or feel unseen, the blue power remains active, unwavering, even when you doubt yourself. Heaven never doubts what it planted within you. As Isaiah 30:15 reminds us, in repentance and rest is your salvation. In quietness and trust is your strength. Could it be that your strength was never about flawless execution, but about silent, humble surrender? The true force of your presence doesn't rely on being perfect, but on your willingness to yield fully to the mission God assigned you. The more you surrender, the more freely the blue power flows. And the more the world around you transforms without you having to force anything. So, chosen one, are you ready to stop questioning your essence and start embodying it? Are you willing to finally believe that what you carry is not just rare, but divinely necessary for this world? The moment you step fully into this truth, the earth won't just notice it, will shift. Chosen one, have you ever truly paused to consider the effect your very gaze has on people? Have you noticed how simply locking eyes with someone can calm their storms, quiet their anxieties, and bring them back to themselves? Your presence shifts entire rooms, even when you remain silent. This is no accident. This is the Holy Spirit moving through you, radiating peace and divine assurance to every soul you encounter each day, whether you see it or not. Your light touches lives, people you may never meet again, people who might never find the words to thank you, but who are forever changed by a moment with you. You were never called to compete, to strive for applause or earthly crowns. You were chosen to remind others of who they truly are in God's eyes. Can you see what an extraordinary, noble mission that is? Your simple steps, guided by deep purpose. Are heaven's silent answers to prayers, whispered in tears and desperation. Keep going. Chosen one. Heaven watches over you. And the world desperately needs that rare strength that only you carry. As Matthew 5:16 says, "Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." Can you feel the weight and beauty of that invitation? Have you ever wondered why your path seemed lined with battles others never had to fight? Why your heart carried weights that others seemed too blind to even notice? It was never about bad luck, neglect, or unworthiness. This was spiritual warfare at its most relentless from the very beginning. Before you even understood your own identity, the enemy knew exactly who you were destined to become. That is why he tried so hard to drown you in pain, to bury you in rejection, and to derail you with delays and betrayals. The wounds you bore were not random. They were strategic attacks to break the one chosen to carry blue power. But heaven used every wound to strengthen your armor, every lonely night to deepen your resolve. The betrayal you faced, it was never punishment. It was heaven's method of refinement. Romans 8:18 reminds us. I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. Doesn't that verse suddenly feel like it was written just for you? You carry scars that the world cannot see, marks of battles fought in silence. These are not signs of weakness, but of authority, spiritual medals of honor that prove your resilience. When you enter a room, it's not just your energy that speaks, it's the echoes of every silent battle you've won, every tear you turned into a prayer, every heartbreak that became holy ground. Hell tried to destroy you, but failed spectacularly. Now, you are a living threat to darkness. That's why the attacks never truly stopped, because the enemy never wastes resources on those who pose no risk. He invests his energy in those who can set captives free, those whose voices can awaken sleeping souls, those who carry anointing powerful enough to break generational chains. Have you ever wondered why, even with a heart shattered into pieces, you kept moving? Why? Even when love was not returned, you kept loving. Why? You forgave again and again. Even when forgiveness felt like a death sentence to your pride, that persistence wasn't from you alone. It was the blue power moving through you, where you step. Chains that are invisible to the naked eye shatter where you pray. Unseen walls collapse where you simply exist. Atmospheres transform. It has never been about your personal charisma or effort. It has always been about what dwells inside you. Ephesians 6:10. Finally, be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. This is the source of your true strength. Chosen one, that is why you faced such fierce resistance. The magnitude of your mission is far greater than the weight of your trials. Every hardship was training ground. Every loss, a divine redirection. Every fall, an invitation to rise stronger and wiser. Today, as you look back, you start to see that even the deepest pains were hidden guides, pushing you exactly where you needed to be. What you thought was punishment was actually the careful, patient preparation of heaven. God never abandoned you. Instead, he was shaping you to endure and fulfill a calling that few could carry. You are not weak because you have suffered. You are unbreakable because you survived. And more than just surviving, you are now fully prepared to move with authority, to act with heavenly wisdom, and to turn every scar into a weapon of healing for others. As Revelation 12:11 powerfully declares, they triumphed over him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. Your story is not just for you, It's a key that will unlock freedom for many. Chosen one. Have you realized that the activation of your blue power doesn't begin in the noise of the world, but in the quiet places where your soul finally exhaled? It starts exactly where the world's distractions end, in the depths of holy silence. God does not compete with the chaos around you. His voice isn't loud, yet it's unyielding. He doesn't scream, he transforms. Have you ever noticed that the most powerful shifts in your spirit came not when you were striving and fighting, but when you finally stopped, breathed deeply, and allowed yourself to listen? In that sacred pause, something inside you begins to realign, as if the very core of your being remembers why you were sent here in the first place. In this space, you realize you have nothing to prove. You don't need to hustle for acceptance, nor chase the empty applause of those who can't see your true worth. The blue power within you isn't triggered by force, manipulation, or relentless striving. It awakens through surrender. When you finally say, "Lord, I am here, speak to me," you invite heaven to come closer than ever before. It's in this simplicity that the most extraordinary things begin to unfold. Psalm 46:10 echoes this timeless truth. Be still and know that I am God. Can you feel the weight of that invitation calling you deeper? God reveals his mysteries to those who dare to silence the ego, to shut down the noise, and to detach from the endless opinions of others. Can you make space within yourself today? The divine power you're searching for isn't somewhere out there. It's hidden deep inside your spirit. But to access it, you must peel away the layers of fear, guilt, and self-doubt, those very locks the enemy placed to keep you from stepping into your divine authority. Have you ever asked yourself, what am I still carrying that God asked me to let go? Because those burdens no longer have any power over you. Chosen one. Make this moment an altar. Right now, close your eyes. Take a deep, steady breath and boldly declare, "The blue power of God is emerging in me." This isn't just a collection of pretty words. This is a spiritual decree, a holy contract between your spirit and heaven. When you speak this with genuine faith, something in the unseen realm shifts. Chains begin to break. Spiritual gates swing open. Because when a word is released from a surrendered heart, all of heaven stands behind it. As Proverbs 18:21 reminds us, the tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit. Can you imagine what will happen when your words finally align with your spirit? Now, look inward and ask, what is still holding my energy hostage? What hidden weights are pulling me backward, keeping me frozen, preventing me from fully stepping into my mantle? Often, these are unhealed wounds, old betrayals, or memories you've locked away in the deepest parts of your soul. The blue power cannot coexist with resentment or bitterness. You must choose to release the past, to forgive with radical determination, and to relinquish anything that doesn't serve your divine mission. As Ephesians 4:30 et 1:32 urge. Get rid of all bitterness, rage, and anger. Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ God forgave you. Doesn't it make sense now why your healing is tied to your power? Activating your blue power requires immense courage, not the kind the world celebrates, but the sacred courage to be fully, unapologetically who you truly are, even when that identity contradicts the expectations placed on you by family, culture, or society. Think of Moses, who abandoned the royal palace to lead a people to freedom, or Harriet Tubman, who risked her life repeatedly to liberate others despite overwhelming odds. Think of Nelson Mandela, whose unyielding truth challenged systems of oppression, or even Malala Yousafzai, who dared to speak when silence was safer. What do they all have in common? They stepped into their calling despite the cost. Chosen one, heaven is not waiting for a perfect version of you, but for the authentic, surrendered it. Powerful you. Are you willing to stop dimming your light to comfort others? Are you ready to stop apologizing for the divine authority you carry? The moment you courageously embrace this sacred identity, your blue power will flow like a river that no dam can stop. And from that moment, you will no longer just walk. You will blaze a path that sets captives free, reveals hidden truths, and reorders every space you enter. So now I ask, will you choose to activate what God has already placed within you? Or will you keep holding back the very light the world so desperately needs? Chosen one, when you finally align with your true spiritual identity, have you noticed how everything begins to shift around you? Suddenly, the power that was always there starts to flow like a river, finally freed from a dam. You realize that you were never meant to fit into the molds society tried to force on you. Your true mission was always to remember who you are in God's eyes. The moment you activate this sacred energy, watch carefully. You will see the environment around you transforming. Old connections will naturally fall away. New divine connections will arise. And even time itself will seem to move differently, as if responding to a higher rhythm. Have you felt how your actions shift from being rushed and anxious to calm and deeply directed? Because now, your frequency is finally aligned with heaven's symphony. You no longer walk in circles. You move forward with precision. You no longer act to impress. You act from authority. And with this balance, everything starts to harmonize. If you can, write down this transformative process. Create your own spiritual decrees. Speak your truth aloud. And talk to God not as a distant deity, but as a present, attentive Father. Declare boldly, I carry clarity, purpose, and spiritual strength. These are not empty affirmations or mere rituals. They are acts of realignment, keys that strengthen your entire spiritual field every time they are spoken. As Proverbs 18:21 reminds us, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruits. Do you realize the creative power you hold in your words? The anointing resting upon you isn't light or casual. It is heavy with destiny. It carries the weight of a divine mission that cannot be delayed any longer. The season for hesitation, for doubting your calling, is over. Now is the time to activate, to step forward boldly, and to fulfill the assignment you were crafted for. You are not alone in this journey. Heaven walks with you. The Spirit whispers guidance at every crossroad, and God has already marked you as His own. Isaiah 30:21 speaks directly to this truth. Whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you, saying, "This is the way, walk in it." Can you hear that gentle voice guiding you even now? But remember, the blue power within you needs space to operate fully. This means you must courageously distance yourself from everything that clouds your spiritual vision. Toxic relationships, constant digital distractions, and environments heavy with negativity are like spiritual smog. They dim your light and drain your energy. You were called to walk with lightness, with holy purpose, not to drag unnecessary baggage. Have you been carrying burdens God already asked you to release? Could it be that your spiritual fatigue is coming from holding on to what no longer aligns with your destiny? Many people have tried to convince you that you were too much, too sensitive, too deep, too different. But the truth is, you were never too much. You were precisely what heaven designed. You weren't lost. You were being refined like gold in the furnace. What looked like divine silence was not abandonment, but preparation. What felt like being left alone was not punishment, but rigorous spiritual training to forge the vessel that could carry this rare blue power. Romans 5:3, -4, beautifully captures this. Not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, character, and character. Hope. Doesn't that change how you see every delay and every tear? Consider Joseph in the Bible. Thrown into a pit, sold as a slave, imprisoned unjustly, each painful chapter refining him for the palace. Or think of Nelson Mandela, whose decades of confinement prepared him to lead with extraordinary wisdom and compassion. Remember Maya Angelou, who turned the trauma of her silence into poetic power that awakened generations. Even Oprah Winfrey, once ridiculed for her depth and emotional honesty, became a global lighthouse because she embraced her true essence. These stories mirror your own. Chosen one. You, too, are being sculpted for impact beyond imagination. Chosen one. Today you finally understand what has been echoing in your soul all along. Your sensitivity is not a flaw. It is a divine weapon forged in the heavens. Have you ever felt like you were too much? Like your emotions ran deeper than anyone else's? That was never a sign of weakness. Your sensitivity is a radar, a divine antenna that allows you to perceive what others ignore. It is a sacred gift meant to protect you and guide you toward your assignment. The blue power within you doesn't require explanations. It does not need validation from those who cannot comprehend spiritual frequencies. Some people will step back from your light. Others may even try to diminish it. Do not be surprised by this. When heaven ignites a fire within someone, it is only natural for darkness to feel threatened and uncomfortable. Have you noticed how your very presence unsettles those who live in deception? That's because your calling is designed to disrupt falsehood, not to cater to it. You were not sent here to make everyone comfortable or to blend in. You were sent to transform atmospheres, to break generational curses, to awaken slumbering souls, and to free those who have been living in bondage for too long. Your energy carries spiritual codes that shatter old cycles and unlock doors that have been shut for generations. This is precisely why the enemy has tried so desperately to silence you, to push you into hiding, to make you believe that your voice wasn't needed. But it is far past time to remain in the shadows. Now is the season for your full manifestation. As Isaiah 60:1 proclaims, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." Do you feel that divine call stirring inside you even now? Rise, chosen one, with awareness and unwavering firmness. You are not wandering aimlessly. You are walking with a mission etched deeply into your soul by the very hand of God. Heaven is moving swiftly, and you are being positioned strategically. The blue power is not merely an aesthetic spiritual concept. It is an anointing granted to those chosen to restore divine order wherever confusion reigns. You do not walk into places by accident. Every room you enter, every conversation you have, every connection you make, all of it is divinely orchestrated. Your presence cleanses spiritual filth, unveils hidden truths, and breaks down strongholds. This impact is not your own doing, but flows directly from the one who sent you. Have you realized yet that your very being is a divine assignment in motion? You don't need to waste precious energy explaining yourself to people who lack spiritual ears. What you carry is invisible to those still blinded by worldly illusions. Your gaze alone carries messages that words could never convey. Your silence is a prayer in itself. Your mere presence becomes an answer to someone else's desperate cry for help, even when you do not speak. The spiritual realm listens intently to your vibration. As Matthew 5:14 says, "You are the light of the world." A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Isn't it time you embrace the fact that your light was never meant to be concealed? You are no longer the person you once were. The fires you walked through have refined you, polishing you like a diamond that now gleams with heaven's brilliance. The pains that nearly destroyed you became the very chisels that shaped your divine character. Your deep surrender has connected you more intimately with the source than you ever imagined possible. Now is the moment to let the blue power flow. Not for your pride, not to inflate your ego, but purely for the mission you were designed to fulfill. The world is starving for authentic light, and heaven has already given you permission to shine without restriction. Revelation 3:8 affirms this so powerfully. "I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut." Do you grasp the significance of this divine invitation? Now that you are fully aware of the blue power residing within you, there is no turning back. The veil over your spiritual identity is lifting, revealing the glorious mission God has entrusted to you. You have been called for such a time as this. The world needs your precise light, your unique vibration, your fierce compassion. The time has come to stop hiding behind old fears and outdated narratives. You are no longer waiting to be formed. You are being revealed. Your identity is no longer a question mark, but an exclamation point, echoing heaven's approval over your life. Every pain you've endured, every moment of silence, every seemingly endless valley, none of it was wasted. Every tear you shed watered the seeds of your future harvest. Every fall you experienced taught you how to rise stronger and wiser. As Romans 8:37 declares, "In all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us." Can you feel that victory pulsing through your veins right now? You are not just prepared, you are ready. Ready to step boldly. Ready to speak truth where there is deception. Ready to carry healing into wounded spaces. Ready to embody love so fiercely that it reorders entire atmospheres. The days of shrinking are over. The days of questioning whether you belong are done. You are God's chosen one, and you have been sculpted for this exact moment in history. Chosen one. Many people around you will never truly understand the depth and sacredness of your journey. They will look at you and call you too much, say that you are too intense, or mock you for dreaming beyond what they can see with their limited vision. But you must keep going anyway. You were never called to be understood by everyone. You were chosen to awaken souls, to shake stagnant systems, and to pierce the darkness with your light. The blue power within you does not need human validation or shallow applause. It does not require long explanations or intellectual debates. It reveals itself silently but powerfully through your presence, through the divine authority you embody, and through your unwavering alignment with heaven's frequency. Stop dimming your light just to feel accepted in places that were never meant to hold your brilliance. Stop shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. God did not position you to please crowds or blend into systems built on illusion. You were designed to transform, to rebuild what is broken, and to stand as a lighthouse for those lost at sea. Everything you need to fulfill this assignment is already inside of you. The authority to speak, the clarity to discern, and the strength to endure. They are alive within your spirit, waiting for you to release them fully. As 2 Peter 1-3 says, His divine power has given us everything we need for a godly life through our knowledge of Him who called us by His own glory and goodness. Can you see that you lack nothing? Trust the voice that keeps calling you deeper. Even when you can't see the entire map, trust the radiant light that glows from within you. Even when you feel unseen or misunderstood by the world, you do not need to have every step laid out before you move. You only need the faith to take the first one. With each courageous move guided by the Spirit, the path unfolds before you like a divine tapestry. Have you noticed how doors begin to unlock when you finally act on your inner knowing? How seemingly random encounters shift your trajectory when you walk with boldness? You are an answer to prayers that have been whispered in silence for generations, even if you still battle doubts in your mind. As you move forward with courage, the entire spiritual realm moves in harmony with you. Heaven doesn't just watch, it aligns. Doors that were bolted shut swing open. Chains that held destinies captive are broken, and divine assignments are activated in places you didn't even know needed you. You don't have to strive to make things happen. They shift simply because of what lives inside you. Imagine Esther stepping before the king, not knowing if she would live or die, yet shifting an entire nation's fate. Or David standing before Goliath, a young shepherd with no armor, yet carrying the full authority of heaven. Think about Harriet Tubman guiding her people through darkness with unwavering faith. Or Martin Luther King Jr. declaring a dream that seemed impossible, yet sparked a movement that changed history. What did they all have in common? They moved with courage despite not knowing every detail. And heaven moved with them. Chosen one. What would shift in your life if you finally believed that same divine backing is upon you? When you show up fully as your true self, wherever you step, something changes. Environments become lighter. Conflicts dissolve. Hearts soften. And hidden wounds begin to heal, not because you strive to change things, but because what resides in you carries heavenly order, radiant peace, and deep healing. As Isaiah 9:10 promises, then your light will break forth like the dawn, and your healing will quickly appear. Your righteousness will go before you, and the glory of the Lord will be your rear guard. Doesn't that sound exactly like what you carry? So, will you keep questioning your worth and dimming your power to comfort those who were never meant to walk with you? Or will you finally step into the fullness of your calling, knowing that your obedience activates divine shifts across spiritual dimensions? The world is not waiting for another agreeable, hidden soul. It is crying out for the brilliance only you can bring. Heaven has already approved you. God has already prepared the way. The question is, are you ready to release what He has hidden in you since before you were formed in the womb? Chosen one, it's time. Move with courage. Move with authority. Move with the full knowing that every step you take, every word you release, and every room you enter carries a vibration that realigns heaven and earth. You are not just a participant in this life. You are a divine catalyst. And when you finally embrace that, nothing and no one will ever be able to stop the light pouring through you. Beloved chosen ones, as we come to the close of this divine message, I want you to truly feel these words in your spirit. The blue power is already flowing within you. It is alive. It seeks space, movement, and your full, fearless truth. Let all doubts fall away like old chains. You are no longer the same person who once questioned their worth, who once hid their light to make others comfortable. You have crossed a spiritual threshold. And now is the time for bold manifestation. If this message has stirred something deep within your soul, I invite you to declare it boldly in the comments right now. I activate the blue power that I carry. I am ready to fulfill my divine mission. Your public declaration is more than words. It is a spiritual decree that echoes in the heavens. When you share this truth, you are not just posting a comment, you are igniting light in someone else's spirit who may be silently waiting for a sign to rise. Your courage may be the key that unlocks freedom in another chosen one's life. I want to thank you deeply for journeying alongside me today. Your presence here is not by accident. It is divine alignment. Every time you listen, reflect, and share, you help expand this mission of awakening and healing. If you feel led to support this work, you can do so through Super Thanks. Your donation, no matter the amount, helps us continue to spread these messages worldwide. And know this, whether you choose to give or not, my gratitude for you is immeasurable. Your energy, your time, and your openness to receive are already priceless gifts. May the blue power within you rise higher and brighter each day. May it bring you clarity in moments of confusion, courage in seasons of fear, and unshakable peace in every battle. May your steps be guided by divine wisdom. Your words carry heavenly authority, and your heart overflow with compassion that transforms every space you enter. I bless you today with deep, unstoppable faith. I bless your family, your purpose, your dreams, and your destiny. May heaven surprise you with breakthroughs you didn't see coming and flood your life with joy beyond measure. Until we meet again in the next awakening, walk boldly, love deeply, and shine fearlessly. With all my gratitude and blessings, I see you, I honor you, and I stand with you in this divine mission.